I read earlier today about something called GenCast, which is the AI model of weather forecasting built by researchers at Google DeepMind. An AI-based weather forecast that, according to claims, makes faster and more accurate predictions than any other system available today. And this is not just a sort of PR claim, it's a paper published in Nature magazine yesterday. And the researchers say that GenCast can predict weather and the risks of extreme conditions with state-of-the-art accuracy for up to 15 days ahead. Dr. Peter Johnston is a climate scientist at UCT's Climate Systems Analysis Group and has an AKA Weatherman Pete. Hello, Peter.
Hi, John.
Do you think this is an enormous step forward, as one of the articles I read described it as?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm thinking artificial intelligence sounds a bit like the guy in the red car, but it's obviously taking off. We know what AI can do. It's got huge capabilities, and it assesses data. It's essentially what it's doing, and this weather forecasting is kind of replacing the standard models that we've been using for years and years and years that have been built up, which try and emulate the nature and the physics of the atmosphere, whereas the AI is taking data and looking at similar situations in the past and trying to predict what's going to happen from there. It's certainly proven to be quite accurate, and that's not a worry for us as forecasters, because we'd like to embrace new technology all the time.
And is it available for you to use for your Monday and Friday weather forecast letters to your subscribers? Is it something that you would do?
That's a good question. I haven't actually had a look at that. I really like to look at a bunch of different sources and then stick my head out the window and try and make an assessment like that. But, I'm never going to be 100% correct, and it always depends on where you are and what kind of clothes you're wearing as how you perceive the weather and whether it's favorable or not. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing and adopt new technology as I can get hold of it. I certainly will look into this and see if it's freely available. That's the thing. The AI is depending on freely available data. And if they're not, they're going to have deep pockets to pay for data, because data is not cheap. Although more and more data is being released into the public domain right now from satellites and other sources.
If they are as accurate as they claim, 15 days ahead, that's enormously useful and important, wouldn't it be, particularly when it comes to extreme risk events?
Yes, absolutely. Pinning the 15 days down is great if you can say that it's going to happen on such a day in 15 days' time. I think they're still going to have 1 or 2 days variation in that 15 days, but certainly we can't get 10 days. After 10 days, we're looking at a sort of 50% accuracy. So getting 15 days is very, very important. It's an important advance, and it is very useful, especially for extreme events. However, it all depends on the kind of extreme event. I still don't think they're going to be able to predict very heavy rainfall on a certain day, but we are probably looking at the onset of very strong winds on frontal systems, on tropical cyclones possibly, and the direction and headings that they're going to have.
15. I look at various forecasts, and I look at yours, and my sense, and what I've done, I've mentioned this to people before. 4 years in a row, I took a series of forecasts, daily forecasts in each of the 4 seasons, and I made notes of them, and then I checked the actual weather and tried to establish which was the more reliable of the forecasting services, and found that Weather SA was, it wasn't perfect, but it was more reliable than a lot of the other services that people like. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, and I...
Sorry, I've got a dog in the car.
Quite clearly, you have a dog in the car. Doesn't like the sound of my voice, equally clearly. And I give the weather forecast for the next week, which you do on a Monday and Friday as well. But realistically, should I be giving anything more than 48 hours, maybe 72 hours ahead, with the levels of accuracy that are attached to 96 and 120 hours and so on?
No, certainly I think you can. I mean, for example, on Monday we knew that there was going to be rain this week. We knew it last week. already. We couldn't say exactly how much rain, but as I'm sitting here in the City Bowl, I can see the clouds coming in, and there's a 50% chance of rain overnight, and it looks pretty much like it might do that. It's not going to be huge rain, but certainly if someone had wanted to throw an open-air party on Thursday night, we could have told them last week already that it probably wasn't the best night to do it tonight. Whereas over the weekend, we could see that it was most likely going to be clear, possibly windy. That's always tricky. But I think up to a week, 10 days, we've still got a fair chance and still got a fairly good idea of what's going to happen. It's just anything further than that, and we have to be really careful about making a specific prediction for a specific day and specific conditions.
Thank you very much, climate scientist Dr. Peter Johnston.